Good evening. My name is Brightops, and welcome to something completely different. I confess as of late that I have been considering the idea of starting a new series, and that series being one of the an old classic of the Dawn of War series, known as Dark Crusade, which, as I'm sure many of you can read, belongs to the Warhammer 40k franchise. Now, I will admit I'm sort of on the fence of whether to actually do this series or not, but I decided to at least have an introduction video just to see what viewers thought, and I'll have a straw poll in the description to not only see if people are interested in having a new fourth series, but, well, you'll see what I mean in a second. We'll of course go and do this on hard, because why do anything half-assed?
The planet Cronus. Beset on all sides by the tides of war, this once quiet colony became a savage battlefield. 7 armies clashed on this one world, each refusing to back down. Each convinced it was in the right. From beneath the sands of Cronus' central desert came the Necrons, ancient machines bent on eradicating all life. But another evil already had its eyes on the planet. From the depths of the warp, the demonic forces of chaos arrived to enforce their claim. To oppose these fearsome powers, the planet's rulers in the Tau Empire sent their elite soldiers and sophisticated battlesuits into the fray. From the mighty Imperium of Man came the Imperial Guard, there to secure Cronus for the glory of the God Emperor. Like a green tide, the Orc Horde descended on Cronus, caring little for others' claims and sowing destruction in its wake. The Eldar, ancient enemies of the Necrons, emerged from their webway to pursue their own agenda on Cronus. And last came the Space Marines, finest and most uncompromising of the Imperium's soldiers. Seeing a world beset by aliens and heretics, they undertook a great purge. A dark crusade had begun. It could only end with the total victory of one of these factions, and the total defeat of all others.
Well then, as you just saw, we had a brief introduction of the various factions we can choose to pick in order going into this game. And first off on our list of people being shown off is the Orcs. We would be playing as Warlord Gorgot's Headhunter. And we would be more or less coming to Cronus to launch a Warg. Which, for the Orcs, is the best way to describe a Warg is, it's sort of like part Crusade, part soccer, right? Is probably the best way to describe it. Now let's see, we'll also introduce some of the other factions. We have Eliphas the Inheritor, a black apostle of the Word Bearer Legion, and a servant of the ruinous powers of chaos. Fearsome looking fellow, isn't he? Then we have the Eldar, being led by Farseer Teldir of Uthwa. They're largely here to fight the Necrons, but, well, they've also got their own reasons to pick fights with the other factions. Especially Chaos. They absolutely despise Chaos. I might go a bit more into detail as to why in the future. Lucas Alexander, the Governor Militant and Commander of the 1st Kronos Regiment. The representative of the Imperial Guard. They are coming to Cronus simply because it does not belong to the Imperium of Man, and they kind of want to claim it. The Necrons. They've had some very interesting changes to their lore relatively recently, as far as Games Workshop and the other companies that run Warhammer have gone, but at this point in time, they are servants of the Catan gods and seek to exterminate all life in the galaxy. And I'm not just meaning like humanoid or advanced life, they want to destroy it on the microscopic level. And they actually have the technological means to do so. So they'll be fun. The Space Marines, led by Davian Thule, who is, in particular, this is the Blood Ravens chapter, who was more or less a custom creation of the Dawn of War series. Which isn't that surprising, because the way that Warhammer 40k is set up, being able to create different, say, regiments of Imperial Guard or Space Marine chapters is part of the fun. Yes, for those who are seeing it, that is a chain sword. Yes, it is revving. It is both impractical and awesome at the same time, which more or less sums up 40k really well. And finally, the Tau, being led by I have no idea. I will admit I have trouble pronouncing Tau names, but Shirezo Kaires, who is the military commander of the Tau forces on Cronus. Technically the Tau actually own Cronus at this point in time, but Cronus was always something of a bit of a backwater, and let's be honest, the fact that we've got 6 armies invading and wreaking havoc is probably going to cause problems. So they're going to try and deal with that. But yes, after that brief introduction of our various factions, I'm going to have 2 straw polls in the description below of this video. The first will be to see if people are interested in actually seeing a series on this game. And the second will be what faction to play. Simple enough. But yes, until then, my name is Brightops, and I look forward to hearing from you.